Okay, so right, so now we can register as brand new users, right? So this is Po, as in Podamarin. So there we register a brand new user, and so what I'd like to be able to do is update it, right? Like add more information such as first name, last name, maybe an email, right? We need to update or send more data, right? And change an existing instance, an instance that already exists in our data model, right? In our data set. We have to find that existing instance, right, and update it, right, using the primary key as to be able to retrieve that one particular instance. All right, so let's do that. All right, so to do that, let's go to the controller, the profile control that is handling this template, and that would be this one right here. And that template, let's see what we have here. Let's see, we definitely have the username. We mapped the input fields, first name and last name and email to a model. Actually, we didn't do the email. So let's add that data model here as well. Let's grab that and let's add that right there. This would be email. Okay. I'm going to remove type equal email. Actually, I won't just yet. I want to demonstrate something for you. All right, so we have that. Let's see the controller goes along with this. The controller is right here. And the controller, let's see, we have retrieves the instance from the server. Yeah, there it is, right? Retrieves the instance from the server using that user ID, and then maps it to the correct model on the template, and that's how it gets rendered. Correct? Everybody okay with this part? Yeah, we looked at this yesterday. What we'd like to be able to do now is be able to update this existing instance, right? So from the template, we would like to add a button that allows us to update, right? So let's see, we don't have that just yet, right? Yeah, we have website, we have logout. Let's add a button that allows us to update this particular instance. So let's grab a button here. Okay, no href, so we're not going to actually navigate anywhere. Instead, we want to update, and let's paint this to be maybe green. All right, so we have that update button. When we click on that update button, we want to send our new data to the server. So let's notify the controller, ng click. We're going to say model.update date, and we're going to pass along the brand new information for the user, anything that we might have typed with first name, last name, email. We're going to send it over to the controller, right, as a parameter, and the controller is going to send it over to the server. Okay, so let's do that. So we're sending this event to the controller. We need to handle that event right here. So let's do that. Let's see model.update equal update, and we're gonna actually a better name would be, let's be consistent. This would be update user. All right. Let's be update user. There it is. Okay. And we're gonna implement it in a function of the same name down here. Update user, and here's the user object that comes from the template. Yes?
Everything in the profile is going down to model.user.
Yeah, good question. Since it's bound to model, it's already available in this. Okay, meaning it's already available in model. Right? So yes, we wouldn't have to technically. Nevertheless, it's a good practice to make sure that things are explicit as opposed to implicitly available, right? So as much as possible, keep a and notice that I think what was in the register or the login page, right? We kept the variables to a minimum, right? So that the variables actually were never available on the model, right? They're available on the scope, right? But they were not available in the model. Here, since we are using since we are sending the data over to the template, right? It is available bound in two-way binding. Yep. Yeah. Good question. All right, so what we want to be able to do is use the user service and update user. And we're going to send over the user object. There it is, right? And that user object, when we send it over to to the update user, presumably the user server is going to send it over to the server. The server is going to look it up, update. It's going to come back saying yes, it was successful or not successful. And the client is going to receive here a response saying, "Yep, I'm done. It's been updated." And typically you might want to provide maybe a response or some kind of feedback that indeed it was successful. So presumably that's going to happen in a callback, right? In a response wrapped in a promise. So this promise, the success promise, probably send over some status information, whether it was successful or not. In this particular case, we don't really care what it sends over. But we can use this callback to maybe do something like model.message user updated successfully, right? And then render that on the templates. Maybe up here or something. You can say model.message. Okay, right? We'll play with that in a bit. All right, so if we do that, if we try doing that right now, and clicking on update, we get an error. We're getting an error saying that the update user is trying to call something on a server that doesn't actually exist, right? And also the then, right? There's no promise yet, right? So let's go focus on the client side for the web service. Let's go back to our user web service. Not on the server, on the client. It's this one. There it is. That's we have. Okay. Oh, there it is. Okay, we did start. Oh, it's empty. There's nothing here. Right. So let's do this here. So the URL, again, following RESTful API conventions, right? We're gonna prepend this with API or REST or whatever your team decides. Assignment. And then the entity that we're manipulating, okay? And since this entity already exists and I can identify it, I'm going to also provide the user ID. There it is, user ID. Although I don't believe I'm passing user ID as an argument. Am I? I don't believe so. I'm not. Although it's a little bit redundant because it's in the user object anyway, right? User._ID. Even though it's part of the object, it's a good practice to pass it explicitly as a separate parameter. Okay. There it is. So I have the user ID, and now that I have the URL, I'm going to send an HTTP request to update this, right? And to do this, we use $HTTP.put. Again, this is a RESTful convention. URL, and the new data that we're sending over is the user object. This user object presumably has the new information, new email, new first name, last name, phone numbers, addresses, and whatnot. Okay, all right. So let's try this out, and let's just bogus whatever. All right. So let's do an update. Now it's complaining, saying that I did send a put. Right, there it is. Here's my put. Where I went out to the server, but it's complaining that there is no route on the server side that is listening for this incoming put. So it's returning a 404. More interesting, notice that the data that we sent is missing something. Okay, notice that it's sent out the first name, the last name, the username, right? The ID is being sent. All this information is being sent, except the email. See that? Right? The reason is that Angular is doing some minor validation, right? That this does not match. That this is not a valid email, right? So if we clear and we try that again, and we give it something that looks like an email, and we update again, here's a put, and there's the email, right? So it adds the email as part of the model. Make sense, right? And sometimes that's inconvenient. Especially when I'm testing, that it's not actually adding something to the model when it's not valid. Okay, that's why I almost removed this type here, right? Just for testing purposes. I'll leave it in there, but understand that sometimes if it's not valid, if you're expecting a number and you type something that's not a number, it won't make it to the model. Yes. Yes, and we'll do that a little later when we do security. We'll do validation. We'll highlight stuff, paint it different colors, and add. But yes, it has Angular has a whole validation module to handle all these things. Okay. All right. So we did send the data over, but nothing is listening on the other side, right? So let's go to the server. Let's go back to the server side and listen for that incoming put. I'm going to copy this right here. I'm going to change it so it's a put. That is a URL. I'm listening for an incoming put, and with an ID at the end, right? And this is going to update user, right? Again, I'm following the naming convention so it matches from client to server just to keep it straight in my head, right? And implement it in a function down below, request/response. Everybody okay? All right. So we're going to retrieve the new user. There it is. We got the user from the body. Same thing. It travels encoded in the HTTP body. We're going to retrieve it. There it is. What we're going to do is we're going to iterate, right? Presumably it's in this array, right? So we're going to iterate, look for it, and we're going to update it. And I don't know if we had done that on the client side. Did we do that on the client side? I forget. We didn't. Okay, so we don't have any code to actually do this, right? So let's quickly implement something. Var u in users, and if the we need the user ID. So we have var user ID. User ID is equal request params dot user ID. Okay. So if our user ID matches the user's sub-u dot underscore ID, if it matches, we have found our user instance in our collection, and we're going to update a couple of things in here, right? I'm going to be lazy, and I'm going to just replace the entire thing. Okay, so I'm going to do user sub-u, right, is equal to this new user object, right? Ideally, you would only modify the things that have changed, right? And that's actually what MongoDB does, right? Only the things that change are actually manipulated, right? It's not replaced entirely. But this will work just as good. Everybody good? Right? So I'm done. So I'm going to break. Or what we can do is we can send a response, a success response. We can say respond send status 200. Okay, everything's okay, and return. I don't want to continue. Or if I got all the way down to the for loop, that means that I didn't find that user. You gave me a bogus user ID. Okay, so I can respond with a send status 404, meaning I didn't find that. I didn't find that user. Make sense? All right. Okay, so let's see if this works. Let's restart the server. Let's go back here and log in as Alice. That is Alice. Okay, that is Alice. And if I update Alice Alicia in Wonderland, and it's Alice in Wonderland.com, right? And we're going to click on update. Let's clear this out. Let's update. And let's see, it came back successful. Looks like it came back successful. Let's refresh. Indeed, notice that the email is there. The first name and last name, I was able to change it. Yes? Right? But did I see some errors coming? Also, I don't see my error message here saying that it was successful. Why not? Why would that be? We can go to source code and we can look at updates. And we can come back here and let's see if we update again. Oh, okay, something's wrong. Let's see, cannot read property then of undefined. So here, this then is not working. Why would that be? Oh, is it because probably in the service we forgot to do something? Right, we never returned from the service here. right? We sent this over to the server, but we never came back from this, right? And so I'm just going to return this. I don't need to unwrap anything, right? Although it's good practice to just be consistent on what is it you're doing with all the requests to do it with all of them. But I don't really need to because there's no data that I care for. So this is response, and this is response.data. Right, there's nothing for me to unwrap here. So let's try that again. So if I do an update, it comes back and do continue. There it is. User updated successfully. Ooh, in the header. Why is this in the header? Because I put it there. Let me remove this. So let's go down all the way down here. Okay, so let's put it perhaps here inside of a div maybe, like an alert and alert info. And let's put the model message there. Let's see. We have this bluish thing there. If we update, it comes back and it says that it was updated successfully, right? Although notice that when you come in, it shows here, not showing anything. It's empty. So what we could do here is say, don't show this, right? Actually show it if indeed you have a model message, right? So ng-show is useful for showing or hiding based on some Boolean or some truthy or falsy expression. So there it is. So that's not showing unless you update it, and then it says user updated successfully. Everybody okay? All right. All right. So we were able to update. How about removing an existing user? Right. Meaning I don't want to belong to this community anymore. I want to unregister. Okay. So let's do that now.